Hey, Revney.
Hi, Hilda. How are you today?
I am. I'm good. I'm good. A little bit sleep deprived, but I'm good. Yep.
Yeah,
Looking
yeah.
forward to the conversation
Yes.
this evening. I
Yeah.
mean,
Kind of. I feel a little bit nervous, but it's okay. Hi, Susie. Welcome.
why is
And
yeah,
um,
yeah. I was thinking about the conversation and the topic all day, and once again, I knew, when you approached me about it, it is appropriate time. It is definitely an appropriate time to have these kinds of conversations. Um, we are in the midst of great change, and as that change happens, it's presenting itself all over in our community, in in our homes, and it's happening more rapid than sometimes we can handle or have put words to context to express it. And so, because that's not happening, other things are happening because what's not being able to express one way, the body will either retain it and then what it expresses itself in another way. It's just the human way, or the body would break down. But anyways, it's a much needed topic because when we look at all of what we see going on in the news right now, it's insane, and it's all over. It is all over. But tonight, I think we're going to get an opportunity to take that all over and bring it more on a personal level. Because, yes, there is all kinds of shit happening, but um, how are we dealing with it?
yeah. Hey, Sabrina. Welcome.
Hello, Sabrina.
Um, so yeah. Also, people who watch the replay or live. Welcome. Um, I think this topic. It's really. It's something that we can't just keep looking away. So I thought we can talk more about this. And so for context, I was just imagine you being um or your loved one trapped in the rubble. Imagine dust in your lungs, right? Losing your houses. Just
I'm going to go get my coffee because it's
yeah,
right. Okay.
yeah. And crying out for help and you don't have any. It's just your home just destroyed in minutes. And we think that if we just scroll away, you know, um, it's gonna go away. But we forget that our child in Congo, for our digging for cobalt in with their bare hands, just for our fancy iPhones, which come up every fucking year, and we keep buying them. And in a way, we are actually um, enabling all of these companies to keep doing what they're doing. Um, and I think I just wanted us to a little bit think about the ways in which we actually add to the problem. Um, that we have a role here, all of us collectively. Um, and I think we live in a world where comfort and silence are actually choices, right? And people also in the chat, feel free to add because been really contemplating about it. Like it's a choice to be silent, right? Comfort is also a choice. Some people don't have that choice, and you can see that very easily because of social media and everything. We were able to see these things now happening in real life. It's not even a dystopian novel, it's a real life. Um, but I think when we choose comfort over conscience, we are letting these systems kill, exploit, be violent, right? We're letting that cycle to continue, right? And we are letting these children die, we're letting these people die, we are letting the forests burning. There's just so many things happening, and we think we don't have anything to do with it. We do. If you really see, I know I said a lot here, but the point is that all of these things have a common thread going on, which is that there's no accountability right now,
mm,
um, at a human level of
mm.
our choices and how our little choices add up to these bigger issues, right? So yeah,
You know, in all those things that you just mentioned, all the areas, there's a pattern. There's a pattern that gets it to the point of where it is right now. And if you study that pattern, it's like you said, you got to stop doing so to reverse the pattern. But the pattern starts at home. Do you understand what I
right?
mean? The pattern
Absolutely.
it doesn't because we're all a part of a collective. And when you say we got to stop looking away, um, yeah, why did we look away? And why was it's that's not me. That's not happening to me. So I'm not so concerned about what's happening in Africa
Right.
or happening in whatever because that's not me. Look
And
back
I
at
think, yeah, we're not talking about statistics here, right? It's not about headlines or politics.
right.
But the question is that if it were you or your loved ones, would you still scroll past?
Well, that's what I wanted to
Would
say.
you,
I was talking
if
about the
it,
pattern. Look at the
it,
pattern of your communities. Look at the pattern of your communities. You talk about that humanity thing. There's something missing because that's the pattern that's happening inside the community. You say, would they look away? They are looking away right now. If you look at all the storylines, that's people are looking away. They looked away when they were trafficking children. They looked, people were looking away inside their own communities. Therefore, they couldn't see when it was happening over there or over there. However, that looking away looked.
yeah, it's not even about blame. It's really about realizing that our little choices that we make. For example, I was a big Starbucks coffee drinker. I was a person who used to grab a cup of coffee every single day before I go to work until I realized how that it's really bad coffee, first of all,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
how they are actually getting it all from these very underdeveloped countries,
mm,
not paid fair wages, and they're selling it at exorbitant prices here, right?
yeah, yeah.
Which led me to then go for like fair trade, organic coffees, and all of that. But you see
Mm,
what I mean? I never even I drank it for years
yeah,
until one day I was like, hmm, let me just research into their coffee. Like, how do they make it? How does it work out? And I did not like what I found. That's what I'm saying. It's like starting to question, or the
right.
clothes that we wear,
Yeah.
the fast fashion. We don't realize that it's women working in these underdeveloped countries at bare minimum wages, making our clothes that we throw away after wearing it once or twice. We think it's on sale.
I know, I heard, I don't know where this was, but I think it
It's Sri Lanka, all of these.
$2 a day. $2 a day.
Yeah,
A day.
even less. That
Yeah,
sounds even more, because what I read was really was worse.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but things like that, we need to start questioning if we can reuse or if we can find better option. Like I updated my phone after 8 years. That too because it was working fine. It is still working fine. That one. I had iPhone 7 for a long time. But I like photography and I was not getting better pictures. But you see, like if we can be more um cognizant of our usage of what we are buying. Like I used to be that person. I was a part of a problem as well. I still do, and I'm still working on it. No way am I immune to this, right? But I've started to buy less and less and then try to buy something that goes on for years and years. Quality over quantity. Can we do that?
Yes.
Things like that. I think it's really small things that we can
But you know what I'm
um
saying? It is starting in small. It starts with your being conscious of the purchase that you are purchasing on different levels. Now, you know what? Not everyone's going to agree with that. But look,
I
when
know,
I put the
right?
change that you're talking about right now, um, that is needed at an extreme because you cannot talk sweat lodges, $2 an hour or less a day, and not think that in order to promote or produce that change so that it's going to have an effect, you got to rest that. That's one of the things in this nasty world that needs to be changed. And that's feeding the material beast and the being programmed into believing that you know what Louis Vuitton is the
Mhm,
shit or Nike is the shit because who's
right.
making Louis Vuitton? Who's making Nike? Who's making sweat lodges? Little sweat factories is what's producing it. And then, like, as you said, selling it back, promoting it at an exuberant price, and making you think that that's where your status is, too.
It is very twisted, but hold on, let me read the chat before I we go and miss the messages. Susie says, by looking away, we are giving t tacit approval. Okay. Um, we do. People say, what can I do? I'm only one person. Change begins one person, one step at a time. That's the thing. And I think we need to kind of elaborate more on this one. What do you think is the reason that we think that, oh, it's just me? It doesn't matter. Why do you think that is? It's a good point, Susie. Yeah.
I think that and I think all think have thought that at one time.
Uh-huh.
You think it's, what do you mean when you say it's just me? I won't be able to make a difference? Is that what you meant?
Yeah, that's what Susie pointed out, and rightly so. Most of the people think that is just me. What difference does it make, right?
There's where energy, I do truly believe, comes into effect and the rippling effect that energy can have. The power of one can bring thousands, depending on the level of what that one is. And I can guarantee you that that one will definitely plant seeds of some. That's how that shit works. And when you think about the changing on the collective and it's, you think about the energy, every move that's made, and especially by who's making that move, trust me, it is having an rippling effect. Planting the seeds of change, planting the seeds of change doesn't just happen in one day.
Right.
And you don't always necessarily get to watch it manifest in front of you that or grow, but it's happening. It's happening. If listen, it's already happening. I do believe when people start to question, and a lot of things right now are being it's being it's hard. to not see some of the insidiousness of what's going on right now. When you look at the what's going on economically in areas, if you're reasoning, you're thinking Louis Vuitton or rent. That's where some people are at right now. Even though you may have been, I'm loving Louis Vuitton. Or I use Louis Vuitton. I don't even know why I got stuck on Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton, I think I'm giving you too much play. I'll go back to Nike or Adidas. Okay, those seem to be the more. See, that tells you I'm not really into brands. I'm just saying those brands because you know what, they seem to be the ones that pop. Obviously, been popular enough that most people would know. But my whole point being is each one. That's the power. For that, that's what I would say to that person that uh, comes with the mindset. What can I do? What would my change make? That's what I would say to that person.
Susie says most people who are not affected are not concerned on what's happening collectively. Exactly. It's a choice because you're so privileged to even ignore that, right? Um, thus the attitude, I'm only one person. Survival mode is a concern of the day. Exactly. Actually, I feel like the major pattern that I see is that hyper individualized concept of our current society, I think has led us to this, where we think we don't, that hyper independence. And I think systems know that we are so stuck in this, which is also coming from our internal family systems, right? Again, it's all related. Where, and it's like a domino effect. And we became hyper independent to the point that systems know that, so they keep throwing us breadcrumbs like every 2 weeks, and we're like, oh yeah,
I
yeah, we're
want to
great. Yeah,
I want to go back to the point that I made previous,
right,
and when I was talking about because basically what you all were saying, you know what people don't see because you know what you know what if they don't experience the experience, then they don't
right.
see somebody else's story. And what I'm seeing is that you used to have, you know, there was a middle class.
Hmm.
There- Now there's no in between. It's just have have nots. You know, there's no that gap is coming in between. There's very little middle class right now. So they are experiencing it. Do you see what I'm saying? They have no other choice right now. I mean,
Well,
you look at the grocery store right now. You tell me that they're not experiencing. Yeah, they are experiencing that right now.
right.
You look at all the job losses that would have promoted that middle class. So I just want to say that there's something changing with that.
I don't think I understood that, but I think it's most of the people are middle class. There's only few percentage of rich people. And so the people we are talking about here mostly are middle class, and they are the majority, I think. And they're kept in survival mode, which is why they're like, I don't care. I'm not okay, so I don't really care what's going on outside. All I care about is my family, and I need to survive. I need to live. And it's a vicious cycle where you're so trapped in your own little world that you don't have capacity. Sometimes we really don't have capacity to look outside. I started questioning recently. Until then, I was in survival mode as well. You see what I mean? It's not like it's not happening, but if you don't have capacity, what will you do? And these systems are made to keep us there. They have made credit system for the same reason. Okay, they have made all of everything is on mortgage, everything is on loans. Why? They want us to buy stuff, they want us to stay stuck in this whole
Absolutely.
cycle. And
Absolutely.
then and then everybody needs a car and everybody needs a house and everybody needs this and that. That's all our life is about. Because again, hyper independence.
Hmm.
We don't know how to rely on each other. Because
Which is
that's,
back to that materialism, which is going back to the materialism.
well,
You know,
why materialism? Think about it. Why do we need materials? Why? Just think about it. Why? They know that our nervous systems are dysregulated, and
mm,
we show these people glitter in the form of brands and stuff and sales and all of that, and it keeps us in this little own little world, and we
mm,
think everything is great. Oh, I got it for like $5. Okay, what now? What? And your mind, okay, observe your mind. You get a $1,600 phone, right? Because phones have become really expensive now. I
yes,
don't know about the latest one. And you'll forget about it within a month.
yes,
You see what I mean?
yes.
We never observe that because we are so stuck. Again, I come from an Asian background, where we are not really taught, but there is a concept of savings, which I don't think there is a concept of savings here, in the West. People are rely very much on like paycheck to paycheck. Um, and it's an interesting dynamic because if you see most of the rich people are Asians, right? Why is that? Because, but to me, that's also trauma response. You see what I mean? That overperforming is also a trauma response,
Hmm.
as
Hmm.
well as not doing anything,
Yes,
farming, right?
yes,
Is
yes,
also a trauma response. So they know this. They know this,
yes.
right? It's not about blame game. I think it's about we're trying to, I guess, understand together what exactly is going on and why we never realize that this thing that is happening with the other person can also happen with you. What can you do about it? What will you do when that happens?
I think that that's what we're seeing a lot of right now going on, trauma response. If you look at it,
It is. It
there's
is.
a response coming from people are in a trauma response.
So
Look,
we are still affected, right?
what's that?
There's nothing called independence. If you really see, independence is only about your choices. And that's the only place where you can find independence. But one thing, okay, what happened in COVID? If you're so independent, why was the whole world shut down then?
Right, right.
We are not independent. We are stupid because we can't see. One thing happens in the air, everybody's affected. And something happens in the water, everyone is affected. All right.
Yes, yes.
So it's really interesting how biased we are. It's another level of programming where we're
Mhm.
like, oh, yeah, air air is free, but water is not free, right?
Yeah,
And food, there's more food than there are people on this planet. But no, we need to buy food from outside. You see what I mean? It's so stupid. It is so stupid if you really see.
but it's the same. I said, shut the pattern. It goes everywhere. Well, you know what?
Gotta,
Thing on the there are very few places, and I can't really bring one to name, but they're very primitive, and I can guarantee you that they are not in that pattern. They have actually kept with the natural cycle more of life. My point being is that yeah, that's they got us in a reversed pattern. Everything going out. outsourcing everything, not
Everything
being
outsourced. Yeah.
so. The remedy, doing the opposite on an individual level, even right down to planting a garden. Well, they're messing around with the environment as far as that goes. This was a
It
very
is it
bad.
is interesting. I'll tell you the lawn concept that I recently learned. I always question is I was like, what is the point of all of these lawns? These manicured lawns. What is the point of all of this space? And that I've seen only in the Americas. I've not seen that in Asia. Because
Right.
people actually use that to plant their vegetables, their gardens, all of that. Until recently, I learned that it was something of a status symbol in the British era
You
that
got it.
Americans then copied it. It was a
Mm,
status symbol. Before that, communities used to grow their own vegetables and all of that. So they were very self-reliant. But then so people are still copying that. And I'm like, do we even question all of these things? They're so in our face all the time that we never even question them. But it's just interesting.
was done in the name of convenience. Your
Yeah,
convenience, your convenience. The more convenient we became, the more
yeah,
enslaved we become.
right. It's
Seriously,
like, excuse me. But Susie says, she agrees they need us to buy into the matrix so their way of life can continue. Asians are also the intellects of the tech world as well. Yes, notice laws are made around how you keep your land. Exactly. It's like, it's insane if you think about it.
but when you think about, okay, you
And
buy a house, you buy property, you buy a house, and the whole idea is that, you know what, okay, we're going to leave a legacy. You're going to buy this house. You spend half your life working to pay it off, not really ever
yeah,
living in the house.
yeah,
And then, let's say you reach retirement, house is paid off. You start to pay taxes. And if you don't pay the taxes, then you lose your house. But with the concept, they got you
yeah.
running a mill
It is
of,
so weird.
oh, it's all crazy. It's all backwards.
Okay, this is interesting because I've only seen it in the Americas. Because, like, I have a house here. I don't own the land. The government owns the land. I only own this house. I'm like, that is insane to me.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
But
Mm-hmm.
anyways, I think that what we are trying to tie here is that the things that we take for granted every single day, be it the way we live or what we eat or what we wear, um, there is always consequences behind it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The clothes we wear, the food we eat. It's so interesting that we order something on Amazon Prime, we get it the next day, but we never think how much effort was went to get that thing here. You see what
Yeah.
I mean? That's what we're talking about here. We are so detached from reality. The food we get, we have no idea. It's packed in these neat little boxes, and we don't know how it's grown. We don't know where it's coming from. We just take it and we go, and we're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we are talking. That's the thing we are talking about here. That we are so disconnected from the reality,
Big time. Mm-hmm.
and we have outsourced everything to the point that we have become totally desensitized. Even
Independent.
to the point that we can see people being, people dying and we don't feel anything. That is scary. That is scary. Huh?
Mm-hmm. You know what? We've also given up we are dependent. We've given up our independence by being dependent and on their, whether
Right?
it's for food, whether it's for all your resources are in somebody else's hands.
And I'm nervous laughing right now because it gives me goosebumps. It's like, oh my God.
And it's by design.
It's by design.
Them
And we
placing
all accepted it, consciously or unconsciously we have, because if we are operating, it's not, we're not telling you to be rebels. I just want to be clear. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we need to start questioning these things. Because remember, majority is normal people. It's just those little percentage of politicians and these companies, but majority is people like us. We are the majority. Look at what happened in Nepal. I think they burned their government down. They burned. There was so much corruption. They were sick of it, and the government actually banned the internet. They burned the whole thing down.
you say not rebel, I'm going to say this. I won't say rebel, but I'm going
I
to
won't
say
say rebel, but
a
whatever.
time
Yeah.
to question. People, it is a time to wake up. I will say
Uh,
this, and I say it
Right.
often. We are not Kansas. We cannot pretend that this
Yeah.
is happening any longer. And as I said, there are many things taking place right now on the planet to prove so. So, yeah, it is a time to definitely
Yeah.
question
To
and
question.
think differently and act differently, however way
Yeah.
that looks to you.
I mean, the thing that we're talking about here is that the human cost of conflict. People are dying. Not even, it's not even a joke. It's not a metaphor. It's like people have been dying for a long time in Africa, in the Middle East, in Asia, for different reasons, right? Even in the States, there are shootings every single day, and they are so normal that people have started talking about it. You see what I mean?
Right, right.
Why? Because NDA brings a lot of money for the government.
Mm,
But
mm.
there is there is a cost for all of this, right? And then there's that global exploitation that we were talking about through the clothes we wear, through the foods we eat, and whatever it is. Everything is imported in the States, all right? Most of it, well, because
Which
it's the
I just will say,
labor is so expensive here. We never think. We're like,
yeah,
oh, there's so much racism for Asians. Okay, the phones that you use, okay, make it in America. The same phone, I can sign it, will be not less than $5,000 because
right,
labor is so expensive here. So stop, just stop it. It's people like you, all right? And
right.
refugees. I also want to mention that if you keep bombing their countries, where are they gonna go? Tell me one thing. Who wants to leave their country and stay in someone else's?
Yeah, that's
What do
right.
you have here except burgers? Nobody fucking cares. There's no culture here, all right?
Wait, and you can't even trust the beef. You can't even trust the beef. The beef.
Yeah. So like if you have problem with refugees, you should better look at what's going on. Why are they coming to your countries? Because their countries were bombed. I just wanted to mention that because there's just so much ignorance.
I will say this, that
Oh my god.
it's also important for the refugee to understand that they're coming into a country.
Of course. Of course. It goes both ways, but I'm just saying, because I have been a victim of racism here when I'm staying legally and I came on my own acumen and on my own
Yes.
background, right? And still people are racist, ignorant people.
Mm,
I
mm.
went to the Middle East last year, and when I came back, people downstairs, I shouldn't have mentioned that, but I did already. And they are like well-educated people. Well-educated. You know what they told me? This like, oh, so did you see people in guns and stuff? Like, I know they have weapons out. I'm like, what do you know about Middle East? Have you been there? What are you talking about? Like, we have no fucking clue. We sit in our small little boxes and watch CNN. We have no clue about the world. That's
Oh,
not how it works, all right?
I know. I know. Yes.
I'm
Yes.
just saying that unless we learn to connect and have context about the situation, I don't know how we come to conclusions and we just accept whatever we are shown in the news, which is another form of programming. I mean,
And I think that, you know what, absolutely. I think its design is to program you
yeah,
into I mean, you look at you. Yeah, it's to program you into the narrative of in which they want
Right.
you to see, so that it reasons for the reasons of. So it gives reason for
Do
why
your
they
research. Yeah.
in into other people's business and drop their bombs
Because
and.
it's all political, right? It is political. They
Mhm.
want you to hate the other. They want to create the other, but there is no other. I have seen people, they eat food just like us. They want they have their own emotions just like us. So what are we fighting? It's not even our war. I think like people, I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's like we really need to open up our mind and do our due research before jumping to conclusions.
Yes,
Both the victims, both sides. I'm not even saying, I mean, I understand there are two sides of, always, but if you just jump to conclusions based on what you see, okay. That's what is happening, I guess,
it's one of those.
today.
This is the time for each of us to examine, take the time to examine on an inward level when
Right.
dealing with, because it's whether it's an immigrant issue or what, because things are vast right now on whatever level, but in that particular level that we were just talking about in terms of the immigrant, it is time to do that inward evaluation with yourself when dealing
Right. You need to
about
look at your biases and yes, everything.
big, because when we think about when I think about the collective, and not everyone's going to do that. And I gotta open up my door. Hold on.
Okay.
It's going to happen on an individual level. I'm going to tell you. I see how
It has to.
it does. It does.
You can't expect, it's like, again, we are externalizing our responsibility. We don't want to be accountable for our part in this, right?
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes.
So let's talk about climate change for a second. 70%, I was reading, 70% of the carbon emissions are coming from these countries, the Americas, Europe. And the rest of the world is basically on the mercy of these. Well, most of it is US actually. And then, it's like majority, 70% is coming from here. And rest people are suffering because of the decisions made here by just as 1% of people and these companies
And not
that
only
are
that,
taking over.
I think they okay. Let's talk about the chemtrails and that we want to talk about emissions. That's do you know about the chemtrails?
No.
Oh my goodness gracious! Yes, there's planes, governmental planes that have been streaming our neighborhoods with releasing a chemical. Yes, 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 yes. I'm just going to get you to go listen. That is something that you need to research. When I tell you that this pattern, the pattern that has been happening to us, there is nothing that's not happening by chance. That's what I'm saying. You can't get into okey doke. You can't believe everything that you see
Yeah.
happening in front of you at this time. Take your time, like you said, not only to just do your do research,
Yeah.
and definitely do your due research on on the person that you are about to re or evaluate and deal with. And that's what's not happening. Because I just told you something that you said, no, I didn't. There is a whole history and still it's present, baby girl, to numb our thinking and put us into that anxious. People are acting a certain way because you know what I'm going to tell you. It's called poisoning your people. And you will hear me often say, we are not in Kansas. And in fact, there is a war happening with us, a war on the collective.
Well, I can understand because if you really see the decisions being made, even when the scientists have been saying, for example, about the climate change, and it's not just they're saying, we're actually seeing um, the rising levels of sea, we're seeing flooding, we are seeing wildfires frequently, we are seeing droughts, we are seeing the desert expanding, all of that. And still, Amazon rainforest is being slaughtered, right?
Exactly.
Just for the big companies. Still, all of these things are happening. So I'm not surprised because these people do. Again, it's about greed is coming over conscience. That's what we're talking about here. So I'm not surprised things like this exist. It's just
Yes, yes,
scary
yes,
reality, but it is what it is. That's what
yes.
we're talking about here, that not to become hyper vigilant, but to just I think it's about trying to first connecting the dots because you can only do something unless you understand it. So it's about mm, yeah, raising awareness. That's what we're talking about. So definitely um we looking away is not really helping because we are actually seeing the climate changes. It used to snow so much here, it doesn't anymore. It hasn't snowed since I think the last time in Chicago it snowed was 10 years ago, maybe more. After that, I don't see much snow.
No,
Imagine you're in Chicago, like it gets really cold. Doesn't
absolutely.
snow much here. Doesn't It's not that cold either.
No. Well, I'll tell you here,
No.
it is a definite change. I'll just use this season alone, just this season alone, and you're looking at someone who has put in a garden for years, wherever I was. You know, not if it wasn't vegetable, it was always a flower of some sort. But my whole point being, this has been the worst. And when I tell you, out of all of the vegetation that I planted this year, and I started with seedlings, all I got was uh, tomatoes and just very poor growth is all I want to tell you. It is not. It's all my plants this year did not. It was and it all due to the weather. And
Yes.
you keep hearing us talk about no rain, no rain, no
Yeah.
rain, no rain, and I'm talking like you know what we when I say drought, it was drought. Once again,
Yeah.
control. I do believe that a lot of that was controlled because you know what, it did affect the crops. A lot of the farmers have very poor crops. They had poor crops,
Yeah.
just going to create something else down the road. Anyways, just saying how it
It's
lives.
it is quite there's a lot of corruption everywhere. Um, like from the state I'm from in India, there was it is flooded like crazy. People lost their homes, people died, everybody's displaced, and it's crazy. And they're blaming it on the weather. But
Yes.
why did they open three dams? Why did they open that? It was like corruption, like mismanagement. Why? And there's no accountability even now. You know what I mean? It's just all NGOs working together, people like us working together to find solutions, ultimately.
They opened up the floodgates in
Yeah,
India.
yeah,
They opened up the floodgates, or they opened up the what do they call them? Not barges. In New Orleans, the what do they call dams? Dams. They well, the dams broke. They said, but the dams they knew to be repaired. So that Katrina, when Katrina happened, and same thing, and those people are still picking up their stuff to this day.
and like there's no concept. I have lived in the States for a long time that I can comment about this now. there's no concept of public buses, public transport here. Everybody has a fucking car. Imagine that. Every person in the house is a car. I
Yeah.
know it is, wow, what a privilege. But you know how much that adds up to the pollution? Have you thought
Yes.
about that? Compared to like how much area the North America has. My God.
But then they have everything designed
Yeah,
now
that's what I'm saying.
in a way that if you don't, you need to have the car because you are now
See,
on their grocery store. You are now dependent on their
I know.
hospital.
That's the first thing I noticed here. It was so strange for me because everything was so far that you need a car. And okay, Europe has a really great public transport. It is also a big country. I'm not a country, but you know what I'm saying. Like, right? Why not North America? Like, what's the problem here?
Right. Right.
India has public transport, Japan, all countries have it. Why not here?
Yeah.
That's another thing. I think that there's a very, and they know that, okay, if they start public transport, people would stop buying cars.
Yes.
You see what I mean?
Yes. It's like this area right here, I live in an area that they do have a bus, but oddly enough, remember, I live in a rural area. Where does that bus go? Just along the town route. Well, that's not taking care of any of the rural areas. So, how efficient is that service in terms of its
It's
product?
just that I think it's really interesting to me because again, I know this because I have lived this life as well, right? That's why I can comment about it. It's like we think, oh, we're just enjoying our little life here. I was watching these videos um from Israel, right? And they have been bombing Gaza, and people on the other side, just like within few miles, they're having a good time. They're relaxing at the beach, and they're clapping. And I'm like, what kind of what what the?
I
You
know.
see, like, anyways, it's the story of each one of us. It's not just them. I just want to make sure that because it's very easy to say, oh, it's them.
Right.
No,
But
it's us.
let me say this,
Yeah,
when you think about it, and that's what I'm saying, you got a bunch of individuals out there, but here's the deal. You got individuals with mob mentality.
it
They're walking
is.
around with a mob mentality and an energy, because it's all about the energy. Look at that. It's an energy that will promote and produce that kind of behavior. Then look at how that energy is being promoted. What's being promoted? What's
Well,
happening?
they want people to see that. You see what I mean? They
Right,
want people to see it.
right,
That's
absolutely.
how, and these are fanatics. I'm telling you. These are I tell you, the most dangerous people in the world are religious people who are stuck, whose consciousness is stuck. So
Yeah,
fanatics. They are the most dangerous people in history if you go back, even now.
100, 100, baby girl, 100. 100.
So if we think that people are suffering there and it does not affect us, I think we should start questioning that the table can be reversed. Because if you do that to someone, they're not gonna be like peace, love, and light.
No,
You are actually creating more violence when you do that.
yeah, yeah,
Remember that.
yeah, yeah.
And you know how life goes, the tables can turn. What will you do then? What will you do then?
That's right. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. Everything has a karmic cycle. And I'll say this once again, because
Exactly. They're creating more karma. Exactly.
some of what we see existing, happening right now, is a karmic cycle or is karma on the table. My whole point being is that's once again, hence, it's real important as an individual. How am I going to deal with this? How am I, because in the impact that you will have, I think is powerful. That's what most folk have to take it, do the Because that's what we're being forced to do. That individual evaluation. That's where we're at right now. That's why we're having this conversation.
Hold on, I want to read the chat because I missed. Okay. Susie says people only know what media tells them. Unfortunately, the United States was built on racism, stays Sabrina. Oh, yeah. How about having a conversation with different people from different countries? Exactly. Be curious. Talk to people.
Mhm.
I don't know how we come to conclusions just listening to these news people. Do you trust them enough? Like, seriously.
Not only that, I'll tell you something. When I think of news, I think all I think about something which gives you the same clip of the same whatever's being featured 150 times, and by the time you've made it through the day,
I
you've got
know,
thousands times of being programmed with the
right?
same image.
It's
Hmm.
it's a normal it's a normal part of life for the majority, Susie. You're staying in their own boxes. Hilda, Sabrina is mentioning about chemtrails are destroying the earth and humans.
Yes, yes,
Chemical spraying is real, another way to poison people. I researched about it. I don't. Okay,
yes.
the reason most people don't care about climate change or are concerned about the effect of climate change is because they think I won't be around to be affected.
And
Wow, that's like
that,
heights of
that that's
heights of numbness is what I'm gonna leave it at that.
unfortunately that's what we're dealing with, though.
It is numbness, 100%. Um, there is weather manipulation, but I also believe the earth is cyclic as well. Of course it is, but I think we're talking about the human impact on nature, right? Of course, and then nature will still try to balance it out, which is what it's doing. But every action has consequences. New Orleans, we are blown up. Nobody rides with them. They all drive alone. Selfish. See, that's another thing. I know there is public transport here, only in cities. But you know how much suburbs there are in the
Yeah,
world? I
yeah.
mean, not in the world, in the North America. Like seriously, that's not enough. Not at all enough. What kind of? Yeah, nobody rides together. That is true. There is public transport in most. So Brena says there is public transport in most major cities in the US. In the DMV, we have a metro system that many people use. The populations have grown here over the years, though. See, there is a metro system here too, but still, it's not convenient,
No, y
right? Because it's only goes between. It's not because if you have to go to market and stuff, what do we do?
yes, yes,
The world is a circle, and God don't like ugly.
yes.
Oh, hi, Coco Spiritual Journey. Welcome. Hi, Marie. Welcome.
Oh,
Hi, Coco. Okay, yes, okay. So it's your name. I don't watch news at all. I can't watch the news. They're saying, okay. Yeah, it's just, yeah, eh, it's
it's
really making me feel, my heart is like, oh,
a time to re-examine, less reaction. Because you see a lot of reacting going on right there. You see a lot of reacting. We're just reacting. The
we do.
the need for the center. That's when I talk all this individualing, being acting from an individual stance. That's where the grounding is so necessary because people are just reacting, and that's not counting. There are things being done with us humans right now. We just talked about the chemtrails, which is, trust me, it's affecting behavior. That's not counting the food we are ingesting, of which has been made with chemicals and things like that that
Yeah,
are having an effect on your behavior or nervous system. So I
Yes.
that's where if we
Oh,
on our own
yeah.
individual
Yeah.
self, that's where the power is going to come in. Go ahead.
About the food. About the food. Oh my God. I I think women especially, we are so sensitive just naturally, I think, that I was getting all kind of shit before I started eating organic non-GMO food. I mean,
Mm,
my hormones were totally out of balance
mm,
until I removed all plastic, because that's what it is, the plastic and there's all of these microplastics. It's
yes,
it's it's not, I know I think all of us have microplastic because there's just so much plastic out there, but just that change of removing plastic from my physical, from my kitchen, from my food, eating non-GMO foods actually helped a great deal. It was like a fog was lifted. I'm telling you, that was a difference. Just changing my diet. And I grew up on all like the same kind of food. Like in India, maybe there was organic food, but I don't think I had that for a long time. So it really does mess up with your consciousness, is what I'm trying to say, and your body.
it does. And okay, now we talked about the food. Let's even just talk about the clothing that we're wearing, depending on you got to be. That's another thing I've been
Oh
looking at.
yeah,
We're being warred against, shall I say? Because when you look back at, we have
yeah,
all these regulations on this, that, and the other. We don't regulate the clothing. We don't regulate. I'm just
yeah.
thinking with the very hairpiece that I got on my head. That's not regulated. I'm sure of it. And and how it is made. My whole point being is, do you see when you go
Yes.
level and you see what
Yep.
we see happening? It's not by
Yeah.
chance. And then when you look at the
Yeah.
frequency, so
Yes.
that's where the individual baby girl is on a huge level, just maintaining your ship
Absolutely.
being
Yeah.
war against.
I mean, I was a shopaholic, big time, and I think that came through my mother. Um, and in the beginning of when I was financially independent. I was a person, I used to like shop, like, all that fast fashion stuff until I was like, this is stupid.
Yes, yes.
Until I sat back and I'm like, oh my God, you need to stop. All right. And I became very conscious of what I'm buying, and I shopped less, but I use it for longer time, like quality over quantity again.
Yeah.
But I think again, we need to check, because that's the sales. The sales. It's
And
like same
Trump,
for decks and stuff. It's the same thing. If you're not using it, if you're not using it, if you're not making the best, making the most out of it, you're creating more than pollution. And I just wanted to mention that there's a whole fucking island in the middle of the ocean,
mhm,
just full of garbage, just full of landfill. Our stuff that from the developed countries like the Americas and all of that, all the stuff that the fast fashion that we use goes to the ocean.
do you
So
know,
we need to start thinking
I'm just thinking on
reusing.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking of the sea life that is below. Whoo!
Oh yeah, yeah. They are suffering too. It is important, I think. It's not even an option anymore. It's not an option. I think we have passed that point, um to the where we could ignore.
I just want to add this for a discussion that I thought about all day and thought this is going to be a difficult discussion, but this is how spirit is at work, very much at work. It has been a discussion that has just flowed, and that's good. That's good. That's why there's a need for it. You see?
Yeah, and I think I I had one question. I mean, I had a couple questions. Maybe we covered already, but I just wanted to go before. And also, people in the chat, feel free to add. I know you have been commenting. Let's see if I missed something. Marie says, I live in Montreal, Canada, and I don't own a car. I have BMW, bike, metro, walking. Is that a bike? Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. It's okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I don't own a car either, Marie, and I'm here in Nova Scotia. I leave my footprint, not my carbon print. I'm just saying.
Yeah, agreed with the food. Marie says, yes, having a healthy diet is everything, makes such a difference. It does. It does.
Yes.
Susie says we also need to call one another higher. How else do we wake one another up to behave better? Important to hold each other accountable. Oh my God, yes.
Important. Important.
Accountability is important. And I think that is what actually makes us respect ourselves more. Not if we abandon our responsibilities, that's where this comes from. The hatred that we project on outside is actually hatred for ourselves.
Yeah.
So yes, we need to be accountable
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Reuse, recycle. Yes, reuse, recycle is important.
And
Be
live.
when Marie said BMW, I'm like, what? Susie's laughing. I don't drive also, so that's okay. Oh, okay.
In Montreal, they have those
Public transport and she walks.
like
Beautiful.
that they are able to go and rent their bike or scooter for however long that they need it. So that system is great for someone that doesn't own a vehicle. And then they have all these different drop-off stations where you can go.
Oh, it's like in the cities here. They have it too, but it's only in the cities. If I get it in the suburbs, I'll be
Uh,
it will take me a day to get anywhere.
yeah, yeah,
So it's actually really good in the city, but um everything is so far off here. It's just impossible.
yeah.
I love that. I love that. So, um the question was that at what point did another person's suffering become a news, um, instead of a wound in our, instead of something that is, I guess, triggering, or what makes us think? When did it become just a news? Because I think that's how we relate to the world now, only through the news.
That's the thing right there. You know what? Everything has become so sensationalized, and you have everyone reporting on the same thing. And we're also in a point in space of where people say, "I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at it. I just don't want to look at it,"
I was
because
that person. I just want to mention that because of this, because they create it is a very it's not helpful. I'll just leave it at that. I think the
yeah.
way I only like news where it's to the point and you tell me exactly how it is. Don't create stories, especially if it's fake.
Well, that's the thing right there. Once again, let's just talk about it. Okay, let's talk about just it, the news, and whether you just mentioned something, whether it's fake or not. Like I said about the whole design. You see, I'm going to repeat this again. I'm going to keep saying it. I will keep speaking this to people. We are at war. The war is your mind.
Right.
It always has been your mind. Because if I can control your mind, you are a slave to me. And I will have you
Right.
enslaved to me, giving up your sovereignty in ways that you know what you will feel bent over, like being in a crack house.
That's what it is.
Thing is, ooh, I was going somewhere else but that. My
It was
point
a
being,
good point. Yeah, that it's if you control people's minds, I mean, I think that's what they're using news for. That's the thing.
Yes.
Like my father watches so much news, Hilda. I can't
You
even.
draw. You gotta go in your thinking. That's where, you know what I'm gonna tell you. Um,
Yeah.
Elevated in your thinking. It's time to do the work. Do it because you know what? Here's what we're seeing also is a manifestation. If you are seeing it, it's something unhealed inside of you that's still left unhealed. Because I can guarantee you, when something happens way over there, it is affecting a part of you in some kind of way. And when we get to knowing that, that's why the healing is inside of you, and that's why it just festers up. Oh, I don't want to look at that. I don't want to look at that. I don't want to look at that because there's something going on that is in the deeper. Am I making sense?
Which I understand. I completely I don't think we. Okay, this is a good point. Okay, what is happening is that we do want to know what is going on in the world, but not to the point where it becomes something that keeps us in fear, right? That we stop doing things that we want to do, stop taking actions that actually help, which is what is happening in, and it's like a wounded masculine, right? Um, because my father, since I know, since childhood, I have no problem in sharing that, even if he watches my video, which I don't think. Watches video all day long, reads newspaper from end to end. That has made him fearful, scary. He's scared all the time, even if he doesn't accept it. How do I know he's anxious all the time? That's not what we are talking about here. We just want to know what is going on, so we acknowledge it. Acknowledge is the word, acknowledge. Don't drown in it. That's not helpful.
And you know what? Isn't it funny? Because here's another thing that folk must think. Okay, let's say you are the news. You like to go to the news, and you like all those other sources. You know, you just can't stop. You can't stop yourself. I wanna ask you this: why is it they present the problem, the problem, the problem, the
Yeah,
problem, the problem, the
just
problem?
a problem.
They come with a solution, but they'll
Yeah,
constantly promote the problem, and this
exactly.
leaves your brain running in a circle in a pattern.
Exactly.
Course. And if I have control over the narrative, I can swing you whatever narrative. And so that's where, you know what, where are you getting your source? Where's your source from? And that's why I will say to folk, you know what? Yeah, I do use TikTok as a source. Those are real people
Right.
like me,
Exactly.
feet on the ground. Or am I going to trust CNN where I don't even know if they're fucking hologram or if they are? No,
Right.
I'm saying I don't know whether you're a hologram,
Yeah.
I don't know whether you're a reptile.
Yeah.
Yes, I just said that. I just said that, folks. That's the world we are living in. Anyway, my whole point being is that, yeah, we need to get more real and we need to get more earth and we need to be um, uh, thinking. I don't even think clever is the word that I need that I want to use right now. You just got to be freaking thinking. Think, which would mean you're not just ingesting whatever is coming at you. We need to start thinking about what it
Right.
is that we're saying.
It's
Stop
like
drinking the Kool Aid.
it's like we are sitting here sharing our perspective, but ultimately you need to hear it, digest it, and see how it relates to you. You don't just accept anything that you're fed, right?
Right,
You
right,
see what you wanted, right? And how it makes sense to you. And I think that's the whole point. We have
right.
given authority to these people where they're deciding how we should feel, what we should think, what we should wear, how we should be. No, it's like you said, the sovereignty is so important because ultimately it is you responsible for your actions. And that's what we are talking about here. We are not talking about governments and systems and all of that because it's us that
How
makes them the
you give
authority.
power away? Stop giving your power away.
Stop giving
You
your power away.
when you give your consent. Stop consenting to being. Start thinking. We're consenting. We're giving our power away.
And
Take your power.
also, why Have you noticed that even the spiritual community, it is not about tackling real world issues. It is about what will get the more screen time, what will give us more airtime. What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? Where are you living? You're living on this earth, right? So what matters? This earth,
Mm,
right? It
mm,
does not matter what you're
mm,
thinking and where your higher dimensions really doesn't matter at this point if you're not grounded and you're
mm,
not helpful where you are.
mhm.
It's like another way of disassociation. That's another level of disassociating. I'll just leave it at that.
Definitely.
Seriously. Same with the news. It's about airtime. They know that this is gonna gain attraction. People are gonna what? Okay, this is not just about Americas. Any country I've been to, everybody talks only about the problems. I did not understand their language, but I could see it was all about wars and this and someone dying and that dying and that dying. Why don't we talk about something good about life? Why don't we talk about what is going good in life? What is actually working? Why don't we ever talk about that? Have you ever noticed that?
Right. Well, I'm just sitting up there thinking, and there's always a duality going on, or what a polarity.
Polarity,
Oh,
polarity. I know
sorry.
you're sleep deprived.
No, that's why I'm drinking my water too, right? But no, going on. My whole point is, once again, always the problem. And what is the problem? How
Oh, it's a
very
problem.
see of the solutions that people are already creating. They're already creating their own solution. You know what we don't realize? There's many people who have said, "Okay, I'm not going to depend on you with my food source. I don't believe that. You know what? I don't even trust your food." So they've already been doing their own food source, a little bit
Right.
of time. So that's how we do it. There are already people right now. I got one of them right in the chat. My girl Sabrina, who was already doing her herbs, looking at
Right.
herbs as a way of healing. That's how we do it.
That's how you do it.
There's something
Exactly.
there right now that I know right now that's, what, got another business going on that's more. You just
Excuse
find
me.
it. You need to do it inside your community. And like I said, working against all the elements that you know is coming up against you. That's why you have to tell you, keep your circle clean. Keep it.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh, that is so important.
yeah,
If you're hanging out with the wrong kind of people, that's what you're gonna land up in. That's what you're gonna be. So choose the people you hang out with. Or even it's not just people, it's whatever you feed to yourself. Make sure, even if it's physical food or what you watch, what you listen to, make sure that that's exactly what you want, right? Um, and another question when I was thinking about this topic was who, and I think we have answered already, but just think about it. Who benefits from us being numb?
right.
Who is benefiting from us being silent? I'm not just saying keep yelling. That's not the point. Point is you sharing what you feel.
Absolutely.
Because you're a human, right? If you watch someone going through these things, you're not gonna just sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, everything is great." Yeah. Um, Look at my diamond watch. Like who cares, right? Um, and from giving us this illusion of a normal life, who benefits from it? Just think about it. Um,
Benefits
and
from
why is that normal life not available to everyone
right, right, right. Why
if
are
it's
you?
a normal life? Yeah,
I said, why are you fighting for a piece of a pie? Why
right.
are you fighting for a piece of a pie when you can create your own pie? Why are you looking at that piece of pie?
That.
Just make your own pie. Why are you trying to get through that door? Create your
I
own
think
door.
it's interesting. I was reading that there is so much food available on this planet. It goes to waste. Actually, it goes to waste because it just stays in these warehouses and it like goes to waste. So like why? Like you said, like why unnecessary we create all of this panic and fear and oh my God, there's not enough space, there's not even enough food. Like why?
I'm just gonna
And
say,
if our empathy dies, then how are we still human? What makes us human? What is what is the difference between you and a robot? AI, now you know AI what it is, right? And you can see the difference. I think we are all so smart. I personally feel humans are so smart. I know that we have our conditionings and I know we have all of these things, but still, I feel that we are really smart if we can just find the right kind of environment and, you know, if we
I
question,
something.
I have
You
so much hope.
AI robots.
Yeah,
You see, that's what we're at risk of right now. You know that those robots doing all of your jobs. So there'll be no more
they
wait.
have.
Absolutely, you just go to certain parts right now, but that's a part of the planning. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about, they're talking about um, giving your power away, giving up your, if you're in giving your independence away. Let's just say independent from your food, independent from, or uh, I
Mm.
time period. I want to just say this.
You know,
Um,
it's interesting that AI has been here for a long time. It's not like it's new. No, it's not. It was created in 1960s. All right? This is
yeah,
not new. We have been using AI for a long time.
yeah,
But why now? Because if you really link it, we are so desensitized, most of us, that it's basically AI is taking over our consciousness. And I was reading today, there was an article that was saying that people have started to sound like AI. Do you know how that dangerous that is? What makes us human?
mm, mm,
AI can do that for you. So what makes you you?
mm.
Everybody's gonna sound the same because that's what it is. The news that they show us to all of us is like, okay, think like this. But then what makes you you? Where's your connection to spirit? Where is your unique perspective and way of seeing things? How are you gonna do that in today's world? If the only resources we have is news, how are you going to take different actions? How are you know what I mean?
I do.
It's so interesting. We are just told like you can only try through these things. This is
You're
what it is. This is the template.
rely on if you're coming from a source of information and that's what you're making your bases on, then you know
It's
you
not real.
I
It's
don't
none of that is real.
right.
And I think one thing I will give to social media is that, like every other thing in this world, it has pros and cons, right? Pros, you can actually see, like what we are seeing right now, for example, in Gaza, they're sharing, real people are sharing their videos, sharing what they're going through, which makes accountability easier, of course, with the whole thing going on right now. That's another topic. I don't know where United Nations fit in there because it's not actually working and people are still, since past 2 years, are going through this shit. Imagine bombings every single day. Oh my God. Their nervous system, I can only imagine what they're going through. But that said, social media is actually helping us see what's going on and what actually people go through. It's not just in books, it's not fiction anymore, right?
I
But the cons are we can stay in that little world and forget about grounding ourselves and forget about what we can do right here, right now.
yes, yes,
Because everything is so fast. Scroll up, scroll up. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And the algorithm knows. First of all, that algorithm is also AI, if you don't know that. It's a neural network. It knows what you like, and it's going to show you exactly what you're
exactly.
interested in. So they want your consciousness there. But remember, that's where your autonomy comes. Then you have to be like, okay, I got it. But now I need to take a step back, need to ground myself, and I need to see what I can do for this. Because if you, it's like we're fed all of this information, and I feel pity for humans in this era because we are fed so much information that we don't actually need, that our
Yeah,
systems are not built for actually. It's not built for it. And
yes,
that's why it's traumatic for all of us to
yes.
see what's going on, which is sad. But on the other hand, we can see that it's been going on in the Middle East for a long time.
Right.
We're just able to see that more. And maybe it will shake us up and actually wake us up from our dreams, from our little world. That's the pros that I see from social media. That maybe our numbness, maybe we can actually wake up from the slumber,
You will
right?
not. You can't afford to be numb. And if you are, well, and as I said, and how is it been mirroring in your neighborhood?
Yeah,
Disguised as something different or something else.
that.
How's it been mirroring in your neighborhood, but disguised as something different? Just, and when you think about being conscious and looking away and first you looked away in your neighborhood. You looked away when it was happening on some sort of level in your neighborhood.
And I it's a good point that you brought it up. You can actually see it right now in your neighborhood,
Hmm.
right? Now, where I live, because I grew up in India, so I can see the difference, right? I can see how chaotic India is compared to here externally. But
Mm,
here, people are in fawning mode, which is they're numb.
yes, yes,
So it's like suppressed emotion, suppressed trauma because we are taught to smile all the time and taught to perform and taught to do this and that and get the American dream, blah, 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 all of that.
yes,
It's just, I think at some point, we, if we normalize this, if we normalize what we are seeing, and that's what is happening. I think I was trying to get at some point. Sorry. Well, yeah. Okay, okay, okay. So, for example, I'm traumatized and I come back to a peaceful place, which is what refugees do. They're like, we need help. We need we need a space where we can just be, right? And I get it. You need that space to reset yourself. But you won't stay there for a long time, do you? But I think that's what is happening here. People have made it a culture of staying, you know, if you're sick, you're told to isolate. Why is that?
yes. So you
You're
don't
told
feel
to so you don't affect others, right? And you can rest and you can regulate and you can do all of that. What happens if the whole society is built on that? What does that tell you?
right. What was that again? I didn't.
So it's like, to me, that's how it feels like. Again, it's my observation. It might be wrong. I'm not sure. But I feel that people here have made it's a trauma response, I feel like, to suppressed parts of yourself, suppressed emotions that people think staying away from other people is actually going to keep them okay. So
Yes,
it's not like people are not social here, but that concept of community,
yes,
I don't see that. Like, I don't even know my neighbor's name. Even
no,
if I try to, people don't want to. People don't want to engage.
right, right, right. And
So that
long,
tells me, yeah, that tells me that we have made it a culture. We have, when it becomes a culture, I think it has reached a point where it's almost like it has become a disease now. So
yes,
it has manifested already.
yes, yes, yes.
So
Yeah,
that's why I think we are at a point where wars and all of these things are happening, and we are still numb. Imagine that.
that's right. That's right.
If we don't even wake up now, if you don't even see what's happening, I don't know what else is gonna wake you up, like all of us up, right? And it's me too. Like we're so conditioned. We're so
Yeah.
conditioned.
Yes. Yes.
I was talking to my friend who is also from India, and he's like, I love it here. I want to stay here. I'm like, okay. Why? Because it's quiet.
Yeah.
That's what he told me.
Yeah.
Because it's quiet.
Yeah.
And everybody's busy in their own life. He's The point is that it's just interesting for me to see all of this. Like how there is no connection at all with other humans. There's no time. It's not it, and then again, I want to talk about time. What is time?
Yes. Construct of man is what I call time. But it's a way to control you with giving you the illusion that there is a time limit on things. That, you know, what a universal time. They gave you a universal time. That everyone has an individual spirit time. We do.
Right.
Everything is in the time of the universal time. There's the universal time.
And I have been part of it too. Like I have wanted quiet, maybe because I wanted that space, but now I'm starting to question. I'm like, okay, so now my resting place has become my jail, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what happened. You are not quarantined forever. That's not a quarantine then. Or is it?
No.
At some point we have to go back to the world, and that's what I think I was trying to, maybe it relates to someone or not. That was my point. It feels like to me, because I see the contrast between India and here. India has its issues. I'm not at all saying that India is perfect, but I feel like still people are trying to um it's part of the culture maybe that it's people want to talk to each other and people want to hear each other, and they really want to help each other out. Not everyone, of course, like every place, right? There are all kinds of people.
You know, when I sit and I think, and I'm going to speak about how I experience um, what I see, and I'm just going to talk about the India, my experience with people that come from India. I know that there are you have your different levels. You have your people that came
Excuse
here
me.
educated. They came here too educated, and and you know what? They're in their field of working in their field of study. That I know there's that group of people.
Yes.
There's the other group that come that they are here on uh, I don't know. They're here through immigration because of coming from situations which are actually it's deplorable. It's deplorable conditions,
Yes. Yes.
and
Yeah.
it's just saying a real third world country. And when you talk about the noise and
Yeah.
lack of and people living in conditions, as I said, rough ass conditions, but that would create a mental trauma,
It does.
trauma, which is going to react itself. And what we're seeing is trauma being uh, acted to in uh, which is considered normal. And here's what they're not seeing is that there's also another level of trauma, I just want to say, going on here in the good old Americas. Because there's shit that has went down here, but we're in performance. We are in performance level here. So that's the reason why we have our manicured gardens in our manicured lawns. And where am I getting with this? because not everyone's going to agree with probably what I'm about to say, but I do want to finish the point because, and what do I mean about the trauma? We have a lot of things that weren't spoken about because we know what we live in such a way here that you know what? We look away from the truth of what's really happening, which is the fact that let's talk about that disparaging gap that is in existence in the economics here that is being shown in such a way that let me see we talked about slums in India. Well, now we have our city streets cluttered with homeless people. We have our people shitting in alleys and on streets because that is happening here in the Americas too. And you see all of
Yeah.
that shit that you didn't acknowledge, which did lead
Yes.
to a form of trauma. Am I getting my point? Am I getting it? You got to see the similarities on what's happening
Yeah.
between the two. So now you bring all those people together. What the
Mm.
happened? Especially if I'm not acknowledging it. I'm just saying. Maybe not everybody's going to agree with it, but that's how I see it, anyways.
It is. And yeah, I know what you're saying because I don't know if anybody got it, but I know what you're saying. It's that when people who are traumatized are brought in with another sector of people who are traumatized, it becomes even more chaotic, right? And I completely agree.
I
I'm
think
not
that
at all. I think India, because India has a lot of issues. For example, you're talking about India here, right? Mhm. People are well educated. We are high performing. It's like high performing. What is that called in psychology? Trauma performers, like high performing trauma response. That's
yes.
what Indians are. I feel like some people when they're traumatized they shut down. Not Indians. They're gonna fight back. They're gonna, which is what I did as well. That's why I know.
Mm,
But are you gonna give up and you're totally be like, okay, I'm done, right? So again, there's just India has its own history, right? We have been, I think we recently got independence. I think you guys got independence like 200 years ago. And that's why I think India is still in a state of breakdown. So they're still kind of rebuilding themselves up,
right.
which will be chaotic, especially the kind of numbers we have in regards to population. But still, I feel that it's more hard driven than what I see here. Yes, externally, everything is very systematic and all of that. But I think if we can just add heart here, it will be much better place, I feel like. And it's not just about the place because the place in itself doesn't have anything. It's the people that make it good or, it's the people that make it a community. Um, so yeah, I don't know if I don't know if you guys got it what we're talking about here, but I know what you're saying.
I'm gonna say this. I concur. I concur.
Okay, let me look at the chat. Okay, there's a lot of conversation here. Um, oh wow, people have been talking, huh? Um,
I haven't been looking at the chat because trust and believe I can barely see. I can barely read the chat. I'd have to bring the phone back up and I look at the videos when I
okay,
do that.
Coco. Coco says, yeah, in Japan, we don't need car at all. You can go anywhere you want. Wow. I have heard about it. I am going to visit Japan next year,
Yeah.
100%. There's also this car sharing thing called Commune Auto when you rent the car for the amount of hours you need, says Marie. Very
Ooh,
nice.
what a good idea.
I know it exists in California, but I have not heard that thing here. Again, every state is so different, so beautiful. I just want to defend car owners. Say Susie, I love my car and I drive everywhere, but also help others. Again, it's not. Sorry if it came across like that. It's just that I think we're talking about how it adds up, right?
And I
Okay.
was, yeah, like it wasn't about the
It's not about the car. It's not about anything at all. It's just about
uh,
we
it's about the whole.
gauging.
It's how
Yeah,
we thinking, and not only that, but you know what I'm going to tell you. You talk about. I was also talking about the disparaging gap. But you don't bring a bus system in, and then leave that bus system in town. That's not going to service a rural area, like you said. Where's the how is the bus system in your area? Which would, if we had a good one, it would
it's
maybe.
very yeah, personal, so it depends. Um, Also, like, I try to if I'm going somewhere, I'll try to do everything in one go rather than going one thing at a time. That's how I do. Um, and I will wait and I will do everything at once. Even the packages, if I order, I try to order everything together so I don't, things like that. Just be more
Yeah.
cognizant. Marie says, Susie, I agree because having a car can give a lot of freedom. If I didn't live in the city, I would probably have to drive. Agreed. Sabrina says, Susie, I love my cardo and have had it for 20 years. Media news is equal to programming, says Susie. Media is so bad. Sabrina says her father is a news nerd too, I guess. Susie says 20 years, it's not a domestic for sure. Okay, talking about the car. Media news does a lot of brainwashing and they inflict fear. Bad news give them more views. It is. It is about views. I
Yes.
love my Toyota, says Susie. Sabrina has a Honda. Okay, now we're talking about cars here. Toyota makes good car. Support support independent news. Yes, it's much better. Yes, agreed. I haven't watched TV in over 2 years, says Susie, who has time, work, connecting with nature, and most importantly, sleep. That's the thing. That's the thing. I knew it. I missed my Honda, but I got too old to drive the Civic. Thank you. I'm sorry. I want to put fears in our head. Okay, they're talking about car. I will. Okay.
Thinking about
Sus-
cars. I guess you know what?
okay. Susie says. Susie. Or also people in the chat, if you have any questions or anything or anything you want to add, please go ahead and comment. I do have to say this, we need to change our thinking as well. Start thinking abundance instead of scarcity and stop giving into fear. And stop giving into fear. I think it is, and that's what it can go in a really different direction because if everybody thinks like this, because our desires are not refined, it can turn into what we're seeing fast fashion today. If it's not aligned and refined enough. So if it's coming from a aligned place, I think absolutely abundance um, is a great mindset.
Yeah.
Susie says, start claiming and manifesting into your reality. We individually all have embedded AI. It's called ancestral intelligence. This conversation breaks my heart. There's so many issues in the world. I think to start making positive changes, it needs to start in our communities. Exactly, Marie. Exactly. You need to start where you are. And it can look very different for each one of us, depending on where we are.
Yes.
Um, we have been desensitized by the media. Also, I think people are numb because of their own traumas that they haven't focused on. Exactly, which is why it is so important to do our work. If we are getting triggered by what we are seeing, does not mean you need to look away. It means that maybe there's a part of us that we need to completely feel, right? And also, it does not mean watching these kind of videos every day. I just want to mention that because it really wrecked me in the past few days and weeks. And I was like, I need a break because it's just too much for our, Like I said, like we are not made for this much information. We're not. But
And I
it's
also think that you know what, it's there to raise your awareness.
right,
Definitely raise your awareness on
right.
how. When I say raise your, how does it affect the collective? Because it is.
Yeah, it's just our choices. I
Right.
think what we were talking about here was that how our everyday choices actually have an impact in the
Right.
collective, right?
Right.
So, absolutely. Susie says, my neighbor told me I talk too much. Oh, well, that's the thing. People Okay, I'll leave it at that. Things have definitely changed as far as knowing your neighbors, says Sabrina. The neighborhood I grew up in was different. Everyone knew each other and we had social gatherings. That is beautiful. Wow.
Our neighborhoods used
Very.
to be more like that.
What's that?
I said our neighborhoods did used to be like that. They were more like that. Gatherings in the neighborhood night. And then, I think um,
Yeah,
systematically it started to change. And why do I say systematically? In the advancement of what we consider growth in convenience, it all of that also took you more out of the home,
yeah,
taken away from more of your time to actually connect with your community. Or it took you away from, you know, I hear talk about a barter system, that's how some folk they already have that something inside their community taking place. Well, we used to have that, which also connected to us,
right.
the inside of your community. So,
I
and
think it's, yeah, yeah,
I was thinking about the programming of in which we all, at some particular point, most of us have bought into, which once again, it took you away from that and more into a dependence upon
right.
all systems.
It's like the painting behind you, someone made it, right?
Yes.
Who made so it's like we already are very connected more than we can understand. Whatever you're wearing, someone made it, right? So I think it's just about I think we have to learn not to chase convenience. I think we are made to like click it and you get it right away and click it and you get it right away. And we think the world works like that. No, it doesn't. If that's how it works, then fall should, spring should turn to fall in a day and fall should turn to winter in a day. That's not how it works. And that's reality. And that's why it's so important to go back to nature to remember how it actually works, how things actually work. I mean, the more I'm getting older, I'm thinking like, it's like unlearn all of this, like unlearn the brand craze,
Mhm.
unlearn all of these things that we had taught about life. It's the simple, simple things, the simplicity of life. Okay, here you go. Hilda, your microphone died.
I don't have my microphone on.
Well, it was on before.
No, I took it off before in the beginning of the live. I
Your
didn't.
audio changed. It got
I don't know what just bumped us off, but I'm going to tell you right now that was not my
maybe.
microphone. And it wasn't because remember in the beginning I took the
I know.
microphone off. So I'm just going to
Maybe.
assume that maybe YouTube doesn't like the message that's being given, and you just bumped us off again. Like you can stop bumping us off because I'm going to tell you something right now, YouTube. Yeah, I'm saying it to you. We are not going to stop having the conversation. We will continue to have these conversations, and you'll do what you need to do, and we're going to just keep continuing to do what we need to do. I'll say that because I do not know what
I
just took place there, but
Okay. We don't see you, Hilda, and I'm hearing my echo again.
and you're hearing your echo again, and you
Yeah.
don't see me.
But I think I I'm done. I don't want to bother people
No, because we are
listening to
going
my
into the
echo.
2 hour mark. We were at almost we were at an
Yeah.
hour and 45 minutes. So maybe
Okay.
that was the universe saying, "Okay, it's time to get wrap it up."
It's time to wrap it up.
You know what? This what happened the last time. Now I can't even get back. I can't even get back. If I left and I exited and I came back, I will try that though. I'll try and
No,
exit.
just wrap it up for me because
Okay.
I'm hearing
Well,
my echo.
basically, I just want to say, you know what? Once again, powerful. And once again, thank goodness they don't see my expressions. But my point being is powerful discussion. We need to keep having discussions like this. It is. I didn't realize it was going to go as well as it did, but it did. And I can. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me. Okay, good. But no, and I want to thank everyone that did show up in the chat, and I thank you for all your comments and participation because this is how we do this.
Yes.
This is how we're
Thank
going
you,
to make
everyone.
change. It's
You
not
were
about
great.
just us stepping in front of the camera and having a conversation. A conversation does include you too. Because when we talk about the collective and us all making change, listen, each one teach one. I might bring, or we may bring the conversation to the table, but the solution lies in all of us. All of us doing what we need to do. And what do I mean? I think that the biggest thing that we can do, center and ground ourselves, because you may not be able to uh, go to India, or you may not be able to go to Egypt, or you might not be able to go to any of these places, and you're hearing all that, but you can have an effect. Ground yourself, and via what we think, and not having your mind trapped and controlled. So, anyways, baby girl, I thank you for this.
Thank you, Hilda. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much. We learned so much from you too.
Yes, we do.
Thank you for your
We
presence.
do. Anyways, so shall we say good night?
Yes.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone. Thank you. Take care. See you. Okay.